Allow me to introduce myself.
I am the last sane sports fan.
I am a genius by trade.
I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to The View from the Midwest. We're going to have a quick episode today, which inevitably means that I'm going to go for about 15 to 20 minutes. But we'll see how that ends up turning out. Let's start with the NBA as the Chicago Bulls limped out of the NBA playoffs yesterday. A disappointing game as a whole. They ended up only scoring 73 points, and that's just unacceptable. I don't know if this is a situation where the players were starting to get tired of Tom Thibodeau, or perhaps the arguments between him and management had just kind of crept on too long, and the players had just gotten sick of it, and they knew the writing was on the wall, so they just didn't want to show up. But regardless of what the case may be, whether it be injuries, whether it be issues with the coach, there has to be a certain amount of professional pride that shows up. When you're in a game 6, if you lose, you're going home for the summer. You get to sit there and do nothing for 2 or 3 months. I don't know. There just has to be more on the line for the Chicago Bulls. Colin Cowherd basically brought it up, and you have to start wondering if what he says is true. He brought it up today. Basically, he thinks the Bulls' window for challenging LeBron is basically closed now. And I can't say that that's necessarily completely wrong, because Derrick Rose is consistently injured. You never know if you'll get a full season with him. When he's out there, you don't know what you're going to get. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a good performance. But if he's tired or if he's injured, then all of a sudden, even if he's out there, you're not getting the Derrick Rose that you need to win these key games. Tom Thibodeau's got to be gone. Management has apparently wanted him gone most of the season. I think that's perhaps affected some of the team's performance. But again, I just think when you're only scoring 70 in the 70s, when you're only scoring in the 70s, your opponent scores in the 90s, you essentially lose by around 20 points, give or take. In a do-or-die game, that just isn't enough. Regardless of what you think of the coach, to not put up more of a fight. And you have to give Cleveland some credit here. I mean, they did play pretty good defense. They did manage to do enough to win this series. LeBron put them on his shoulders a couple times. Not necessarily last night. He didn't have his greatest game. But again, back to the Chicago Bulls, you expect more in a situation like that, and you just didn't get it. Looking to the future now for the Chicago Bulls, I really don't know what the future holds. I don't know a great deal about their contract situations, who's coming back, who's out there, who the Bulls might pick up, that kind of deal. Really, the big question, though, that's at the forefront is who's going to be the coach. Obviously, nothing's official. As of today, Tom Thibodeau is still the coach of the Chicago Bulls, although I think that would be kind of foolish to expect that to last. So who's out there? Well, you got some college coaches. You could look to John Calipari. He's coached Derrick Rose in the past. Maybe he'd like another shot at winning a title with Derrick Rose. And talked to a friend of mine. He thinks that Monty Williams, the recently fired coach of the New Orleans Pelicans, would be a good fit there. Other than that, I don't know who's going to be available. There's probably still a lot of coaches who are in a Tom Thibodeau situation who will probably be let go, and perhaps they'll be a good fit for the Chicago Bulls. And if I'm a Bulls fan, and obviously I am, but even looking from a neutral perspective, do you really want to go the assistant coach route? Because obviously the Bulls did good under Tom Thibodeau. Or do you want to go with somebody who's a little more proven? The Bulls have a team right now that's close enough that do you want to go with that unproven route, or do you want to go with that coach that you know has a proven track record? I think you go with the latter with this team, but the Chicago Bulls may feel differently. I'm not the one signing the checks. They'll do what they want. What is your view on that? Who would you like to see coaching the Chicago Bulls? Next topic is obviously the one that just refuses to go away. I mean, I'm trying not to put it on the show, but Deflategate just pervasive in everything out there right now. Basically, for me, I'm tired of it. I don't care anymore. I don't care who's guilty. I don't care what side, who gets what suspension, what gets knocked down. I just don't care anymore. And they've kind of done a good job, if this was their plan, of just hammering it away until people don't care anymore. Tom Brady, to me, deserves some sort of suspension. He was involved in this. He lied about it. And I kind of think that that is the reason that they came down so harshly. And the NFLPA can appeal it if they want. That is their due process. But to me, Tom Brady deserves some sort of punishment because he refuses to acknowledge any kind of involvement in this situation. And this crap about trying to call this guy trying to lose weight the deflator, give me a break. That is the most ridiculous situation that I have ever heard. I don't care if this is locker room humor or what you want to label it as. There's no way that that is true. And if it is, it's just a ridiculous situation. It really sounds like something that they just came up with to sit there and go point by point and say, no, that's not true. We're going to come up with this excuse. The science behind it is ridiculous. I've had a soccer ball in my trunk over the course of the winter. It did not lose enough pressure to where I couldn't bounce the ball anymore. And it was there the entire winter. So there's no way that these balls lost that kind of pressure over the course of an evening, or a half even. The Patriots are just grasping at straws, and they know that certain people will want to believe them because the initial Wells report had a bunch of numbers in it. Nobody wants to read that right off the bat. So if you come out and refute those numbers, then people are like, oh, well, yeah, that's got to be true. It's laziness at its core, and hopefully people don't buy into it. Last thing I wanted to touch on was an interesting idea brought up. Obviously, I saw on Twitter today that Bo Jackson met with Brian Bosworth for the first time in quite a long time. And it got me thinking, what are some of your favorite moments that basically one guy got schooled over the other guy? It doesn't necessarily have to be Mount Rushmore-esque for the sports world, but I've got a couple. The one is kind of a twofer, because it was the exact same move. But Vladimir Tarasenko did it against the New York Rangers in Madison Square Garden, did it again against the Minnesota Wild in the playoffs of all times. But I mean, it was just this move. You'll have to look it up on the video because I can't even describe it very well. Basically, he goes one way, back the other way, leaves his stick out the other hand, and taps the puck in after the goalie is completely wiped out. And I mean, it's just, here's your jock, thank you for coming. The other one is more of an iconic move. Basically, when Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, I believe it was back in '89, where he pretty much just schooled Craig Elo at the free throw line. Craig Elo goes sliding, might have done the splits, who knows. Jordan hits that famous floating shot to where he's going over towards the left, shoots it back towards the right, sinks it, ends the Cleveland Cavaliers season. Those are two of my favorites. Obviously, the Bo Jackson one is up there, where he pretty much trucks Brian Bosworth. But what are some of your favorite moments of all time in sports to where somebody got schooled hardcore over the other guy? That is the view from the Midwest. We've had a couple topics that are specifically asking for your opinion on it. So what are your views on the topics that we talked about today? Leave a comment in the comment section. Give us a thumbs up. Comment, rate, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, share it around, and we'll keep these on rolling. But until the next time, I'll see you then.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space.